Recording in progress.
There we go. So we got the jerseys. I'm just going to show you. I'm very giddy about these. All right, so that's the white version. Okay, there's the back right there. And we do have a sponsor this year. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with, his name is Mike Stees. And he has a clothing line called Stees. And one of my favorite shirts, which I'm wearing right now, is Sacramento versus everybody. So his daughter is playing in kindergarten, and he jumped on board as a sponsor. Okay, and here's the black version. And we can see the back right there. Okay, so those are the jerseys. Everybody's going to be black and white this year, and that was just because of shipping, all the problems that were going on. We could only get black and white. So I'm like, you know what? We'll just call it a classic year. Okay, so those are the jerseys. Those will be in my hands. I will send out an email. What you will do is when you want to come pick up, you will text me. And what I will do is I'll put it together and I'll put it on my porch. If you want to say hi to me, that's fine. Say, hey, I'd like to say hi to you or whatever, or meet you or whatever. Please do that, because if I'm here, I will gladly come to the door. It's not that I don't want to see you or anything like that, but of course I'll be moving and grooving throughout the day. So all you have to do is text me. I'll put your stuff together so you'll get your jerseys, and then you will also get a game ball. That game ball, you do not have to give back to me, okay? That is yours to keep. So if you have multiple coaches, well, you're going to have to fight over it. I don't know who the head coach is. And of course, you can give it to your kids. So go ahead and slap your name on it, slap the team name on it. And if you coach for, a good 5, 6, 7, 8 years in the league, you're going to have a nice collection of basketballs, okay? And also, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be sending out uniform rosters, okay? So the uniform rosters, and this is especially important for 3rd through 8th grade, and I'll tell you why. You are going to see the numbers with the kids. That is the jersey you give the kid. We go 1 through 5, 10 through 15. If you have 12 players, it's 10 through 15, and then 20. Just give them the number that is on the sheet. The reason being is that I put together what are called scorebook rosters for our scorebook. And so if coaches start giving just numbers out here and there, it gets all messed up. And of course, I can correct it and stuff, but I have that all in place so that the scorebooks are kept. So we do keep a scorebook, all right? So again, you will see that. You'll have it in your hands, you'll know, and then inside where the uniforms are at will be that little slip of paper, and then you can give it out to the kids. A lot of coaches ask, what about shorts? We don't do shorts, but you are welcome to do whatever you want. You can make it a free-for-all or tell the kids to just get a standard black. It is totally up to you, okay? So again, jerseys, basketballs will be coming in the next day or two. Look for an email that will be coming your way. All right, subgrid explanation. I know this is the big one. How do we do the subgrid? If you have a team of 10, that is probably the perfect scenario, right? Because you go 1 through 5, 6 through 10, no questions asked. That's the easy one, okay? It's when you get anything below that or above that. And you could see, if you guys jumped on, I was explaining a little bit to Coach Tyler and stuff, but really the game roster is the key. So the game roster is the one that you're going to fill out with how you want the players to be as far as their subgrid number. And then you basically take the subgrid and then you call out your players per segment, okay? So if you're 9 players, first segment is going to be 1 through 5. Next segment will be 6 through 9 and 1. So one's going to play back to back. Then it goes 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then 7, 8, 9, 1, 2. You get the idea. It's just kind of a rotating thing. So you want to be prepared for that, because when we do the games, what we do is they're 10-minute quarters, and at 5 minutes, we do a sub. It's not a timeout. So you will find that our officials who have been with us for 9 years now, they'll say, okay, subs, and you have that next group go in. Now, if you want to use one of your 3 timeouts, that's absolutely fine, but it is not a timeout. Here's the main part. Because we're doing 10-minute quarters and the games are on the hours, we obviously want to try to kind of keep things moving. I don't want to rush anybody, but we don't want to get so far behind that a team playing at 6 o'clock is maybe starting now at 6:45 or 7 o'clock. So we try to avoid that, and our site directors do a really good job in terms of keeping the game on pace and running, okay? So subgrid explanation, I know you guys will have a lot of questions about that, but the basic breakdown, I would go to the coaching resources page, look that over. I've got 2 main sheets that explain it all and why we do it. We are simply an all-play league, and this is an idea that I adopted probably about 12 years ago, and it's been great, okay? And what it does is it puts everybody kind of on an even playing field. And I'm just telling you, for the kids, it really has worked out to be a good thing, okay? So again, I'll answer your questions about that. In terms of game day, home team will be on the right wearing white. Away team will be on the left wearing dark. Very simple. Because we're now in 3rd grade and up through 8th grade, I know on the website I said practice, go ahead and practice on your same side, but you can go ahead and do the crossover, right? Because we're teaching them the game, so that is a proper thing. In K through 2, we just keep them on the same side because we don't want to confuse the little ones. But as we get to 3rd grade, it's time to make that move. And speaking of 3rd grade, I mean, this is a huge transition for the kids because not only have they gone through a pandemic, but the last time they played, they were playing on 8-foot hoops, okay? So they graduate from 8 to 10 feet. So if you're a 3rd and 4th grade coach, again, give grace to those kids. When you're on site, you're going to find our officials. Now, our officials are from Hawkins Officiating Service. They have been with us for 9 years. I will tell you that they love officiating Buzzardball, okay? And for this reason, we really work hard to make sure it's a positive environment, okay? And we really strive for that. So, you know, we're not going to be yelling at officials. That's not going to take place. Have we had incidents? I'm not going to lie to you. Yes, we have, but we squash those real quick. And you will find that the culture of what we try to do or put out there is positive because truly, again, it's for the kids and more so as we've gone through this pandemic. So just keep that in mind. With that said, do this. Go and introduce yourself to the official. I know it's a little thing, but it makes such a big deal because these officials, you know, they officiate a bunch of different leagues. So we have nuances within our league that a lot of them know, but sometimes it's hard for them to adjust. So that quick conversation, if you have time before the game, just going up and saying, hey, you know, I'm so-and-so, you know, do you have any questions or whatever? This type of conversation will also take place with our site director. Our site director will be the person to make sure that they know the rules so that you don't have to feel like you have to go over them. But just that quick reminder that everybody is on the same page. And we'll go over those nuances in just a moment. Let's see. In addition, there is going to be a binder. So that binder is going to have all the subgrids. It's going to have the schedule. It's going to have everything you need to know in case you forget something. I worked really hard to upgrade the website. So really, if you have a phone in your hand, you should have quick access to everything on your phone through buzzardballhoops.net. Okay, that includes the subgrids and game rosters and whatnot, but we'll have copies of everything at the scorers table. Speaking of scorers table, the home team will be responsible for the scoreboard and the away team will be responsible for scorekeeper. So I put that in the last email. Just a reminder, get a parent or 2 or 3 that would be willing to volunteer. I've put some videos together. I'm going to do some more this week that will help, but we'll give them the quick tutorial on how to do that. And that really will keep things flowing. Here's what you're going to find. A lot of you are going to find that one parent who's going to be there for you every week. Like they want to be closer to their kid. They want to watch. And so they're going to be right there for you. You'll get 2 or 3. Rotate them. Let them set the schedule on who does what. And then, yes, there will be teams where it's going to be like pulling teeth. I would just tell them that because of how Buzzardball is structured, I keep stats for the kids. Okay, and they love it and they get giddy on it. So we do keep a scorebook and we have to keep one because of fouls and whatnot. But really the scoring is the big thing. So if you could just have parents jump on board, that would be great. Last resort, our site director that's there, if they have to hop in and do one of those duties, obviously we will gladly do that. Speaking of our site directors, we'll have site directors at each place that we play. This year, you know, we're at Rio Americano, big gym, small gym, El Camino, big gym, small gym, and Arta Middle School. And then our 5th and 6th grade Gold Boys will be at a new facility, Touch Shooting, in Rancho Cordova. Our site directors are there for you, okay? So if you have any questions, boom, they will help you. I will be bouncing around from site to site. My son, Tote Buzzard, he's the assistant director. He'll be bouncing around from site to site. I'm a text away if there's any problems, but you should be able to solve everything through your site director. If the site director doesn't know the answer, of course, they will go ahead and reach out to me. But your site director truly is there for you. They're going to keep the games running on time. They're going to make sure that, everybody's following the rules and really just keeping everything good, okay? So not letting things escalate if they should, and hopefully they don't. But they are really there as the buffer for everybody that is playing in a particular game. So a big thank you to our site directors. And of course, you'll get to meet them. And what we're going to try to do is try to be consistent with who is at your gym. So hopefully the person you see, you'll probably see them all season. If not, it may be one other person. But we're going to try to be consistent with that. Let's see. Let's go over rules. Okay, so I'm just going to hit on some nuances of Buzzardball that may be different from what maybe you've experienced before. We talked about the 10 minutes, 5-minute submark. Okay, very simple. Like I said, you have 3 timeouts. You can use those. Turning in your game roster or have a site director take your picture. Please make sure to make that a habit. They've got to have that in hand so they can make sure that both coaches are following the subgrid to a T. Okay, 3rd and 4th grade. You do not press. There's no press for you. And when you come up on offense, you will have beyond the half-court line to what is called the 10-foot line. We'll make sure you know what that is. The reason for this, and it's been very successful, is yes, in 3rd grade, we can now steal the ball, right? So instead of having that pressure up on the half-court line, it gives your point guard an opportunity to have a little breathing room to start the offense. Okay, now, with that said, your point guard is not going to camp out in that area. They literally have 5 seconds to get things going. We tell the officials start counting them out if they're just sitting there, okay? Now, what if they go across the line, offense is set, and they get the ball back? Can they return back to that spot and get another 5 seconds? The answer is no. It's a one-time deal, one time per possession. Now, with 5th and 6th grade, you will get to press in the 4th quarter, and you can pick up at half court. So you can see Buzzardball is all about progression, okay, as we can try to teach the game to the kids. Blowout rules. So the blowout rule, we have that in place. If a team goes up by 20, you will see the scoreboard freeze until the team that's down by 20 scores, and then it just kind of goes. So you'll see a lot of scores that I put on the website, 50 to 30, something like that. Now, as far as the scoreboard is concerned, we continue to keep score so that I can update the stats. But we do have a blowout rule. No one wants to see 72-4 on the scoreboard. That's no good for anybody, okay? And we've used the blowout rule, and it's been a lot. It definitely has tampered things down. No zone defense. So it is man-to-man defense. Now, listen, I know there are loopholes, right? There are loopholes in this, but just play man-to-man defense. There is no pressing, as we said, and there's no double teams. So here's the one little nuance that we did change. No double teams outside the key. Once a kid gets in the key, all bets are off, okay? Because now they're near the basket, you can collapse them down. On the other end, there are no 4 corners offense. You know what I'm talking about. You got your star player sitting in the middle with 1 defender looking at the basket. You got 2 of his teammates here, 2 down in the corner, 1-on-1, let's play the game. That's not, well, I won't say that's not basketball, but for this case, we want to make sure everyone's involved. So we don't want to do the 4 corners on offense. If you're trying to stall, that's fine. Just, pass the ball or whatever, but I think you get the idea there. Free throws. So the free throws are different, and this is just to help with time. Free throws, clock still runs, okay? They shoot 1 free throw for 2 points. Obviously, if it's a 3-pointer, 1 free throw for 3 points. If it's an and 1, we just give them the point, okay? We just give them the point and move on. What about the final 2 minutes? Final 2 minutes is very simple. We do not keep team fouls, okay? Once we get to the final 2 minutes of the game, if it's more than a 20-point lead, the clock will run continuously. We will not stop it. If it is under 10 points, or excuse me, under 20 points, then we will stop the clock on dead balls. First foul, player goes to the free throw line, 1 for 2. And that's how we do it for the rest of the way. Figure we're just not going to confuse the process, and it just make things go a little bit easier. There is a thing in there on overtime. I'll just hit that real quickly. In overtime, the first part of your overtime, so in the first overtime, you start with the group that started the 4th quarter. If you go to a double overtime, which is sudden death, you get to choose the 5 that are on the floor. So that's the quick look at overtime. And then the last thing before I open it up to questions, and I appreciate your patience and everything, is COVID, right? COVID protocols. And it's amazing that actually things have already changed in this week that I put out. COVID, if they test positive, 5 days, come back with a negative test. Okay, well, here's the deal. And I should have known this because it actually happened to me in December of 2020, is that when someone tests positive for COVID, even if they come back, whatever, 5 or 10 days, they can test positive up to a few months after that. So if it's for the kids, which it is, that could literally knock out a kid for the whole season. So I have talked to a few doctor friends, and the recommendation was this, is that when they test positive, it'll be a 5-day quarantine. After the 5-day quarantine, they will then be able to rejoin the group, and then for 5 days should wear a mask, whether it be at practice or in a game. After the 10 days are up, we should be good to go. Now, with that said, I'm just going to tell you, I respect everybody where they're at. If you are not comfortable with something, I respect and honor that. I am doing my very best as a director. This is not easy, as you can imagine, but I am really going on the sense that obviously we want to just create a safe environment for our kids, but keep it about the kids and knowing that, yes, they are getting sick. It is happening. It is hitting them. That as long as we can keep that going and maybe not worry as much about the parents, I am strongly going to recommend that everybody wears masks, and we should, but I also have to honor where you guys are at. And I'm just going to say it. It's hard to say, but I just don't feel comfortable going around policing everyone. I don't think I want to, in fact, I don't want to put my site directors in that position as well. I think in fact, I know we can respect each other enough that if we just work hard together, that we will get through this. We will. I mean, we've gone through so much and learned so much, but, and listen, it'll change as we go through the year. I'm very certain of that, but I will navigate with it through it. So thank you for the communication that you coaches that have given me. We've had a few COVID positives already. What do I do, Steve? Here's what I got. And so that's what I will tell you in terms of the COVID protocol. And we'll just go from there. If it changes again, I will definitely let you know. All right, so those are some of the big things I hit. I know as a teacher, the kids hated Zoom, and you'd make them raise their hands, but I am not going to make you guys hit the raise your hand button. So please, if you have any questions, please chime in. I know we can do it respectfully, and hopefully we can get some answers to your questions. So whoever's first up, go for it.
Hi, this is Darren, coach of the coach.
Hi, Darren.
What's the start? Is it a possession? Is it a tip? What are we doing?
Say it one more time. I'm sorry.
Start of the game. Start of the game. Is it a tip? Is it a possession? The home, the way?
Oh, okay. Start of the game. We tip. So we'll tip at half court. We'll, like I said, as they're now moving into 3rd grade, and we kind of move from that K through 2, we try to make it as close to what they will see as they're growing up. So we do tip it off. What will happen then? The officials then do kind of like the NBA possession coming back. So actually, I'm sorry. Now I'm going back in my memory. What happens is, and this is very important to know, is that at the 5-minute mark, whoever has the ball will start the second 5 minutes. So be careful, because if it's the first quarter or third quarter, you may not want to have your player huck up a half-court shot. That's going to be their natural instinct to do that. Rather, tell them to, and you just have to instruct them, hey, hold on to the ball because we will have the first possession coming out of the timeout. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. Good. Hopefully that answered the question. All right. Next question.
Well, how do they match up then?
Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay. So in 3rd through 4th grade, especially, we're going to be giving them grace, right? So the matchups will take place at half court. Okay. We don't wear wristbands like we did through K through 2. If you will notice a big change that we made with the with the jerseys is putting this little number right here. Okay, because I can remember the days of telling the kids, okay, turn around, right? And it would take like 2 or 3 minutes for them to figure out who is going to guard who. So it's going to be a quick thing. We're going to give grace to 3rd and 4th grade. So probably 3rd and 4th grade, what will happen is you'll be able to match up at the start of each segment. It will be quick, and we will instruct the officials to know that. 5th through 8th grade, I think you can pick it up pretty quickly. In terms of being able to match up, again, part of the game. But 3rd and 4th grade, we are definitely going to give them some grace because I think that's too much for them to comprehend in terms of matching up. Okay, so we'll make sure that happens. And then probably the second half of the season, we'll do more like what we do with 5th through 8th grade. So, Mark, thank you for that. That's great.
So it's automatically by number, or?
Oh, no. I'm sorry. You can match up with any number, but it's just easier to say, hey, you got number 1 because there's no number here. And in the past, you had to tell the kids to turn around, but now the number's on the front. And so you can have them match up. So you can match them up however you want. And here's the other thing. Okay, now it's starting to come back to me. Who you match up, the other coach might do something different. So don't get confused where you're having to switch kids, but it does happen where, Mark, you might say, okay, DJ, I want you to guard number 7, but on the other side, the coach will say, hey, number 7, I want you to guard so-and-so. And that's okay. That's fine. But you're going to have to work through that because that will take some time for the kids to understand.
Got it.
Okay, cool. Great. It's all coming back to me. All right, who's next?
I had a quick question. With the fifth six on the free throw, if they start behind the line. But a lot of my guys are having a hard time getting it there, and they end up a little past the line. Is that going to be called real close?
You know, it's going to depend. See, that it's going to depend on the official. I would say by 5th grade, again, you know, here we go with grace again, right? That they should be behind the line because we got to teach them those good habits. 3rd and 4th grade, actually, that helps me is 3rd and 4th grade actually moves up to the first hash. So they can move up to shoot. But for 5th and 6th grade, yeah, we're probably going to want them behind unless, you know, everybody feels as a whole that, you know, we can allow that. That, you know, that's an adjustment we can make. What do you think?
Yeah, I was just saying, like, as they shoot, if they go over the line,
I think that's okay. Yep. I think as long as they start behind the line, we should be good. Okay. Thank you, David. Appreciate that. All right. Who's next? You got to be kidding me. Really? Everybody knows that you guys got it down? We're good? Well, I mean, this is great news if that's the case. But
I'll ask one more then.
Thank you, David. Bring it.
For the first 5 minutes, we have our players ready to sub in. But do we have 30 seconds to match them up?
Yes. It could be, listen, here's the deal. We've got to know that in the beginning of the season, there's going to be a little flex, right? And then as they get to know it, those things will go quick. So I will make sure that I tell Hawkins officiating, hey, listen, I know we want to keep the game moving, but let's remember where we've been and where we are right now. We just need to give these kids a little time to go ahead and match up. We can do it quick, but let's allow them to match up at least in the first, week or two so that they kind of understand the flow. Because you got to remember, almost 60% of the league this year are brand new families, brand new players, okay? So the matchup thing is probably a foreign concept. So expect in the first week or two, I'll put it in my notes and make sure I pass that along.
Now, if a player's injured, you can put him back.
Okay, all right. Good one. I love that one. Okay, so player gets injured. Okay, so let's say you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 in. Well, the natural thing to do is look down the bench and say, who's my best player? Get them in, let them play, right? The way we do it to keep it fair is wherever you are in the grid, okay? So let's say we'll just keep it simple. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 are playing. If anybody goes down, okay, number 6 is the one who comes in. So it's always the top the next number in the next portion of the grid that will go in. And here's the deal. They play out. If that player that got injured can come back in, okay, dead ball, we'll go ahead and get him back in. We'll sub him back in, not a problem, okay? But there's no makeup for that time loss. We just kind of keep things going. So just remember, it's the next number in the subgrid that you will put in. That makes it very easy, all right? Great question. Thank you. Wow, such a chill group. I love
Hey,
it.
Steve.
Yes.
So is there a shot clock?
No shot clock. Oh gosh, could you imagine parents trying to operate a shot clock and the game clock? No way. Yeah, so no shot clock for sure. So, you know, and with it, it's a running clock too. So that's the nice thing. It's a running clock until, you know, the final 2 minutes of the game if the game is under 20 points. Okay. And you can also tell, you know, if somebody's working the scoreboard, and we'll also communicate this as well. With the scoreboard, what we do is when it gets to 5 minutes, we stop it. And let's say there's a play that's finishing out. The play will finish out and then the whistle be blown and then we'll go ahead and make the subs. Okay. So it'll be a 5 minute stop, but if a play's going, we let it keep going. If it's a natural pause, boom, natural pause, subs are in. All right. And we leave that to the discretion of the officials. Sometime they forget. Our site director will, you know, just do a little reminder. Hey, we're at 5 minutes. Boom. But you're going to love that about our officials. You know, are there new ones that come in? Yes. But I will tell you probably about 80-85% of who you will see this year, especially for the veterans who are back, it's the same people. It's the same people. So we're very fortunate to have that partnership. That leads me actually to this. Listen, I'm just putting it in. It's a zero tolerance policy. Just, if you get mad, just hold it in. Hold it in. Just be a good, in fact, be a great example for the kids, which I know you will do. Are there going to be bad officials? Yes, there will be bad ones. No doubt about it. I would say if you could, just really, whatever it is that you have either complain about, give it to the site director. Site director will get to me. I will take care of it, okay? I do not want to dismiss the referees because, yes, there are a few, just like there's sometimes a few coaches that, you know, that get a little hot-headed. It does happen, but it's not worth getting teed up or thrown out of the game. And it's something that I never like to, you know, see happen. And, you know, it's only happened a handful of times in 16 years. But, you know, I keep hearkening back to the fact of, look at where we're at. We're going to get ready to play basketball on Sunday. What a huge, huge blessing. Not just for us, but, I mean, truly for our kids who I think have just, I don't know, I feel like they've gotten the worst of it, right? Like you and I, we can deal with it the best way we can. And we've got our issues having gone through this. But for the kids, like having been a teacher and an educator, it's like that's where my heart goes. So I really want to pour into this experience for them. And of course, I'm leaning on each and every one of you to just be that facilitator, of realizing how important it is to be a coach. You could be that person that literally changes one person's life. Really, I mean, it's just a small thing. If you think of your athletic experience, I'm sure maybe you have an experience. And listen, that also means there's been bad ones. And you don't want to be that person. You don't want to be that coach that's remembered for those reasons. And so the last part of that coaching bit is a lot of you here are coaching your kids. And I just want to tell you, and you know this, it is a special window. The fact that you get to do it is a special window, and one that I hope that you do not take lightly. I remember when I coached my second son for the last time in his 8th grade year of Buzzardball, I was depressed for a while. I knew that time was coming, but I didn't know really how to deal with it and stuff. And a lot of people said, well, why don't you just keep coaching? I said, well, yeah, I can keep coaching, and I love pouring into kids, but there's nothing like coaching my kid. You know, there's nothing like that. So I hope you just remember that, and I know you do, because it is a special time. But anyways, just want to throw that in there. Any other questions?
Hey, so third, fourth, silver league, it doesn't show the playoff chances, it's not as big.
Bingo. Okay, glad you said that. So Golden One Center, right? It wouldn't be nice for everyone. for everyone to be able to play there, right? There's going to be 2 teams. So the way it's structured this year is that for 7th and 8th grade and 5th and 6th grade, the silver champions, and I think in the case either the champion or the number 1 and number 2 seed, will be able to participate in the gold playoffs, okay? And that's worked really well, okay? Listen, maybe you're like a bottom seed, but you never know, right? The Cinderella story. In 3rd and 4th grade, because we have so many teams and because we are just getting back to it, for this year only, I decided to just let the silver be on their own. So yes, you will play for what will be a silver championship, and that will take place on the final week of the regular season, but it will be the gold teams where their playoffs will determine who plays at Golden One Center. And again, that's just for this year only, and when we get back into it, again, we'll open that back up for 3rd and 4th grade. Thank you. Thank you for bringing that up. Okay.
How are you doing? Happy.
What's up, Adrian?
Hey, how's it going? Question about, are there any pregame warm-up time?
Yes, you'll get warm-up time, but here's what I would do, okay? Depending on where you are at, well, here, I'll give you a little inside tip. If you are the first team playing on the schedule, the gym will be opened up about 30 minutes prior. I don't know who that will apply to, but there are some, like Arden Middle School, Rio would be a good place. I can tell you that the Rio small gym will be available in the morning because the Rio main gym, we start at 9 o'clock, but in the Rio small gym, I don't think we start until like 12 or 1. So look, if you want to get in there and warm up, that's fine. El Camino, our K through 2, will start at 11 o'clock. So that will be open for a couple hours. Now, I can't promise it'll be open because I am meeting with the janitors this week, and I'm going to find out how flexible they are. So meaning, are they just going to go ahead and open up both gyms, no problem, away we go? Or are they going to open up the main gym at the time it needs to be open and the small gym at the time it needs to be open? But really answering your question, warm-up time will depend on where we're at, okay? Hopefully you get a nice little 5 minutes and stuff. But I would take them either outside, kind of get them warmed up so that you know that when you come in, you may or may not have the warm-up time you want. Because really, we will impress upon the fact of trying to just stay on time. So hopefully that helps, but that's kind of where we're at. And I'm very keen on staying with 10-minute quarters. I thought of going back to 8-minute quarters, but I'm like, I just want the kids to have the opportunity to play. So,
That's very cool.
okay, cool, awesome. All right. Anybody else?
Next week's game is the arena, and the rules surrounding testing,
Yes.
specifically our vaccination card, because this got me a little nervous about the testing issues right now.
Yep, I totally understand. So here's the deal, Chris. First of all, I'm going to start with an apology because I think, like you guys and me, when this first came across, I was just excited to be able to pass on the opportunity, but failed to really look into what was behind it. Okay, and the obvious one I should have known is that if you go to Golden One Center, there's going to be the testing or the Vax card, which again, with people, you're going to be on whatever side of that or whether that's comfortable or not comfortable for you. And if you have to give a test, that means that's $39. The other part of that was I did not realize that there was going to be an admission fee. And then I later heard that they said, well, yeah, and the proceeds will go to, your league, which I did not know. Okay, so if that's the case, I'm going to take that and just whatever. We'll find a way to put that right back into something that would make sense. So I should have done a little bit more research on that because it was interesting because when I put it out, a lot of you are like, yeah, we're in because the buzzword was free. Well, it's free for our kids that get to play, but for the rest of us, there's an admission and then the idea of, like I said, the COVID testing or whatever. So I spoke with one coach who said, I don't know how comfortable I feel with that. And that's the other part too, is like, everybody's in this. So I'm going to let you use your best judgment on it. I just want to let you know that's one of those things where I just said, okay, here's the opportunity. I do not know that program. I found it very interesting because knowing how hard it is to get court time at Golden One Center for our championships, I just found it kind of like amazing that they were able to get that time and kind of pull that off. So with that said, I don't know if that really answers the question, but I will let you use your discretion on that. You know, if we've learned anything, we've had to pivot. So in the case of like maybe a team that's had like a couple COVID positives or whatever, you got to take that into account with this. And if that means you have to pull your team out, I would hope that there would be grace on their side to allow you to do that if that is the case. And just so you know, I fully support you, meaning if you talk to the Matt guy and you need some support on that, please, hit me up and I will be glad to take care of that. I'll take the hit for that one because I do know that I bear responsibility and not getting all the facts before realizing what it entailed to be able to be a part of this experience. Because it's not as easy as telling the kids, hey, we're playing at Golden One Center. There's a lot more layers to it.
So yes,
Yeah, he's been very responsive.
Oh, okay, good.
You know where we're at?
I'm sorry, say it one more time.
I had reached out to Matt originally, trying to coordinate these 34 facility teams, but I never heard back from him. You know where we're at?
Okay, well, I know he gives confirmation, so I don't have a part of that, but if you want to, feel free to either forward me your email to him, and then I'll get in touch with him and say, hey, could you get in touch with one of our coaches here? They just want to know if they're confirmed. Because I'm not sure exactly how that looks. Some of you have reached out to me in terms of saying, okay, we're locked in, and that's, you got an opponent. So I don't know if you had an opponent, Darren, already, or
I gave him 14.
oh, okay. Yeah, he should have responded to you. So feel free to send that over to me, and I'll follow up on that. Okay, cool. All right. Okay, anything else? It's your last
question.
Yes.
On the 5th and 6th, on the pressing, it's the last 2 minutes of the game?
No, fourth quarter. Fourth quarter. Yep.
Okay. All right.
Fourth quarter, you are allowed to press, and that's 5th, 6th, and 7th, and 8th. Yep. All right. Okay, not bad. 40 minutes. We got it in there. And again, I'll reiterate, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. Everything should be normal now going forward. So now that we've gotten through the holiday shuffle, wherever you are at for practice, we should be good. With the dates and everything in February, just know that, we're going to have a game on the 6th, and then our next game is the 27th. That's because the Super Bowl this year is on the 13th. We will have photo day in the morning, but of course that'll be before Super Bowl festivities, and then we won't do anything on President's Weekend. So in terms of practices, you'll still want to be able to have practices. If you don't, we'll just do what we've done before. Just let me know, and then I can let the facility know so that they're well aware. In this case, those of you at Church of God want to give a big thank you. I don't know if he joined us, but Don Roberson has been absolutely huge. That's a guy you definitely want to shake the hand with and get to know. He's actually a legend in this town. So the fact that he is now connected with Buzzardball, we're very happy to have that. Those of you that are at Sport Courts Fitness, I don't think I need to say anything else. That is a great facility. Wish we could play games there, but unfortunately don't have the room to do that. And then, of course, we have our Sierra Oaks, our Northridge people. Way to go, our public schools. Thank you very much. And if you are a Thursday team that practices at Sierra Oaks, I'll be sending an email out in regards to those baskets that have to go on the 10-footer. So I think that'll just about do it. I want to thank each and every one of you. As a DJ, I would normally send you out with music, but I don't have the music now. And so I wish you guys the best of luck. I look forward to opening day and, of course, meeting you all at some point during the season. I'll be bouncing around. So thank you very much and have a great night.
Thank you. Good seeing you, buddy.
Thank you.